So this is going to be the very first Getting Gibbed podcast, radio, whatever, recording. I'm Nick.
I'm Chace.
I'm Chris.
And we're just going to be talking about random stuff. And, okay, I guess the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to go straight to the throat, the whole Xbox One reveal.
Xbox One.
Xbox none.
Xbox TV.
Do you mean the greatest reveal in the history of reveals?
Oh, jeez. I don't even know when I was watching it. It was just kind of like, I don't know how to feel.
I understand that. I don't think it's that bad. I'm gonna come up and step right up to that plate. I think the reveal was bad. I don't think that the Xbox One is bad.
The reveal was bad, and they should feel bad.
I mean,
right.
they should. I mean, from what I understand, they even said that the reveal was going to be less video game based and more multimedia based.
I didn't get when they were like hyping it up. I didn't get that. They didn't say I mean, I know they were gonna cut it down because they save everything for E3. But
right.
Why reveal a console that just does TV and video games, but like you focus more on the TV than the actual video game?
I think they're just trying to bring in a different market, but at the same time, I have to agree that like I have a TV.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I don't need
You don't need another. Cable box.
I don't need another cable box. Exactly, it's exactly what the point is. Especially one that doesn't look like a Betamax.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me is they tie in the games to your account.
Right.
Just trying to kill the used game market.
But to be fair, they did say that they're not 100% sure they're going to do that. They're not. I mean, no.
Basically, they're testing the waters.
Right.
They're seeing are we going to
off?
be? How much are you going to squeal when we stick this up your ass?
I'm against that, definitely. I mean, I'm sure everybody's against it. It's just, why would you have this huge fan base,
right?
And then you basically just spit it in their face. I mean, okay, let's say like what we was trying to do was trying to be everything at once, and look how it turned out.
Exactly.
So I'm basically, Xbox is trying to do that now.
Right.
Yeah, but it was moderately successful for the Wii. I mean, that's why the PS3 never got anywhere. The Wii managed to be the casual gamer system. The Xbox was the hardcore gamer system, and the PS3 was nothing. It was a paperweight.
I mean, I can understand what you're saying. Like you're like, oh, the Wii was a casual gamers console. But the problem is
that's where Xbox is going.
Yeah, is your they're instead of trying to like, it's not like Wii's trying to become the next powerhouse in gaming. It's like Xbox said, hey, I'm getting tired. I think I'll stick to Netflix.
Yeah, like when they added the Netflix and HBO Go and stuff like that, I was like, oh, hey, yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
But then they added like, oh, hey, we're gonna add in cable now. I was like, who watches cable? I mean, some people still do, but like, why do you have to run it through the Xbox to?
If I watch cable, I watch cable.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not like, if you're gonna watch cable, okay. Let's look at it this way. Most people who do watch cable, the reason they watch cable or what have you is they have like their stuff bundled.
Yeah.
They're people who are going to get their high speed internet and it comes with their cable, and if they want internet phone or whatever that is, they get that with it. But the problem with that is you need the internet to connect to Xbox 360 or sorry, the Xbox One. So if you do that, right, you probably already have cable. So who's going to buy a glorified cable box? It's really what it comes down to.
With like a $700 price tag on it.
Yeah, because that worked out so well for the PlayStation 3.
That's an awesome deal.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a Blu-ray player, that plays video games. That's what happened with the PS3, and that's what's gonna happen with the PS or the Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And what is it? You have to be on the internet just to use it.
You have to update. From what I understand,
you don't have to be on it all the time, but at least you need to be on it at least once. I think once a month or a year. I don't know how.
There's been a lot of different stuff coming out about that. Some people say once a month, some people once a year. I've
heard once a day.
I've heard once a day.
Yeah, because like all your games, it's registered to your account. That's why they don't want to do that whole like use games thing.
But I mean, at the same time, we all have to become aware. I mean, there's very, very few people that aren't on the internet now.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think the main problem with Xbox One is that the internet isn't free.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Not only that, too, but...
I'm not one to defend the PlayStation 3, but at least you don't have to pay for the internet.
Yeah. To play
there's a difference between being on the internet and having to be on the internet.
Yeah.
If your internet is down for some sort of technical reason and you can't get it fixed for a couple of days, you also don't have a video game system now.
Right.
Yeah, but also like the military people that's out in like Afghanistan or anywhere else, they don't have internet.
Right.
So, I mean, like, how are they going to play their games?
That's a good point. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one.
Frankly, they're trying to kill the video game aftermarket is what gets me. Now, yeah, they said they might not do it, but I think that's like, giving them an escape hatch if the backlash is too bad.
I'm sorry.
But if I was a place like GameStop or even a mom and pop style thing, if that's what they're doing, I would say we're not stocking your stuff at all.
Right.
You have to put your foot down on that so nobody else gets it in their head. They can do that too.
And I think that one of the saddest things is that they're doing is they're effectively crushing one of the most time-honored video game traditions in letting your friends borrow a video game.
Yeah,
that's one of the best things you can do. And it's not like, oh, they're going to let their friend borrow the game and they won't buy it. Many of the times that's not the case. The amount of times that I bought a game because I borrowed it from Nick, it's ridiculous.
And this is essentially killing the GameFly and that
Oh
kind
yeah,
of thing too.
exactly. I have to imagine too, and like obviously I don't know this for a fact, but I have to imagine that when you go back into a place like GameStop, right, that when you go to trade your game back in, that the trading value is going to be much more or less because now they have to try to resell game.
It's going to be like a penny now.
Exactly, because whoever buys it is going to have to buy the license to play it.
It's ridiculous. I'm just at awe at how they're going about it. Because, yeah, like you said, like when we were back in like the Nintendo days, everything was a cartridge. You could just like, hey, I want to borrow this.
Right.
I could just play this for like a day and then...
Who amongst us does not remember going to your Blockbuster video, your A to Z video, your Hollywood video, and renting your Nintendo games or renting your Sega games? I mean, that was great.
I think that's just like how they were pushing away from like the whole social aspect of video games.
Right, exactly. That hit it on the head. Is they're absolutely crushing the social aspect of the video game culture.
Well, part of it too, and I've noticed this about media in general, not just video games. They want to take away your physical copy. At the end of the day, they want it all to be downloadable because they know you don't own it then.
Right.
They know
absolutely.
It's on your system, and if your system craps out or it eventually becomes obsolete in 2 years and you have to buy another one, then you don't have it anymore. They don't want you to own a physical copy. And that's not just video games. That goes for movies, it goes for books, it goes for everything. They are trying to move to strictly digital content.
It is almost literally exactly like the Apple iPod. Like
basically
that whole scam where it's like
you're forcing people to buy their own
you have
copy.
to buy your copies. Yeah, but and even then you don't really own them.
Yeah, they want to get rid of the physical copies because then you don't own it. If I have a physical copy of something, I can do whatever I want with it. I could sell it. I can give it away. I can wipe my ass with it if I want. It's mine.
A lot of things are starting to go in that direction too. There's, not to change the subject, but it's the same thing with comic books. They're pushing the digital copies. I would much rather have a physical copy that I own.
I took a poll or a survey or something at DC Comics Online shortly after that New 52 abortion started, and they were basically trying to ask me about New 52. But literally every third question was, "Wouldn't you rather buy a digital comic book? Would you be willing to buy this as a digital comic book? Can we interest you in a digital comic book?"
They're just
like
really
every
shoving
third
you.
question, like, sure you don't want to buy this as a that way it'll delete off your device in 2 months, and
they're always pushing the same idea. It's like, oh, it saves room, it saves space. You know what I mean? And they're gonna do the same.
What happens?
They're gonna do the
if you
same.
run out of space because everything
No.
is stored in a memory.
I mean, like actual space.
Oh.
Like you don't have boxes of comic books sitting around. And I feel like that's what the video game industry is gonna start doing. Like, oh, well, now you don't have to have a dresser drawer full of video games.
But
because
that's
you
just
got
like
them all
nerds
saved.
want that.
Exactly.
They want the library. They want to build the library.
So,
Exactly, but see, but corporate isn't thinking like that, because, and honestly, I think it has more to do with, I hate to call it this, but like the plague of the casual gamer. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like Mr. Johnson, who doesn't give a real crap. He's got a Wii or whatever. He would rather just have all his games on his device. You know what I mean? Because it's cleaner, it's simpler. He doesn't have to pull one out. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think the problem is.
I think another part of the problem is you get a lot of the technophilies that just love everything shiny and new.
I agree with that.
And
too.
they think it's some sort of badge of honor that, look, I got to download it. I'm not reading some primitive caveman paper book.
Right.
You're just practically a shaved monkey with your hard copy.
I just gotta say that E3, they better blow me the fuck away.
Well, let's talk about some of the good points about it, okay? Like, I'm not a Call of Duty fan.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, did you see? Did you see
because
that
you're not
too?
a frat boy with your collar popped up.
No,
and
not only
stuff.
that. But in the new Call of Duty, their tag was, "Oh, here's your new companion, a dog." Fable had that.
Okay, I agree with that.
I don't understand. You care for
Yeah, but
the
Call
dog.
of Duty is violent. Nobody wants to watch a dog die.
Right, and
That's
you
why
know,
the
and
dog
you know the
miraculously
dog.
survives in movies, like
I'm
in
sorry.
Independence Day.
I'd be willing to bet the dog dies.
That's
going to be the tearjerker for Call of Duty.
Nobody wants to see a dog die.
Here's my problem, but my point is, as bad as dumb as the dog thing is, it looked good. You have to admit.
I thought it looked good in a single model. models. Show me what it looks like when it's moving.
Yeah,
Right,
actual gameplay.
That's true.
You're showing me a close-up of it. I mean, sure.
That's the whole like alien colonial marine debacle.
Look, I'm still standing by the fact that I still think the reveal was bad. I don't think the system is bad.
It's all it smelled like corporate.
I'm
talk.
just saying.
That sounds-
I'm just saying because we don't know anything yet. Because we haven't seen enough. Well, basically, what we're doing is we're all rallying around it, saying we might be mad. We might be really
Well,
mad. And
I
we might have every reason to be mad.
That's
But
what I'm
right now, there's really we don't have any concrete evidence to be mad, other than the fact that the reveal was crappy.
I think this reveal was very much done in a backdoor way that they gave themselves escape hatches if they wanted to see how much they could get away with.
Right.
In some respects. They wanted to see how much they could get away with before we all squealed. And I think the backlash is they're going to reverse some of this.
Oh, they're gonna hear a lot because I mean they're hearing it.
Or
a
they
lot
just
right now.
won't sell. It'll be like the PS3. It'll be
Right.
the one of the three systems that gets
That's
left
what I'm
behind
hoping
that
everybody
appeals
does.
to no one.
They
Right.
vote with their money and say like, hey, we don't like this crap. We don't like the way it's going. So people stop, buying all this crazy like corporate propaganda that they're trying to push on us.
Right.
So I'm just saying like, most
Well,
people should vote with their money.
And that's the
Just-
smartest thing any
boycott
consumer
it.
can do.
Yeah.
Is vote with your money. That's, I mean, you don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, the Xbox One reveal sucked, and then you're in line for it the first
Yeah.
day. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if you're standing in the line bitching about it. You still bought it.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there that go, "Oh, Call of Duty sucks," but you're still buying the next Call of Duty that comes out,
Yeah.
or the Madden,
Especially-
or whatever.
Like I said-
basically, it's the same thing. Call of Duty's basically Army Madden. It's just
And
they
that's
just slap
why-
a new number on it.
And that's why they're not changing. Like the game industry, they keep pushing out all these
Right,
like
because what's the
crap
matter?
because you were
People
buying
can,
it.
people can bitch all they want, but if you keep buying it, they're still paying for it.
If this is as bad as the Xbox One says, and I still contend the smartest move for game stores to do would be to not buy it, because you're not losing that much sales because it's not going to sell very well, but you are taking a stance,
Right.
And I think it's an important stance. I think it would be great if GameStop said no, we're not selling this here.
Right.
You have to buy it off Microsoft's website if you're the one idiot that wants to get.
I totally agree with that 100%.
I think you'll see some of the mom and pop stores do it too.
Especially the more local stores.
Yeah, the local guys.
like Just Press Play
Yeah.
around here in Pennsylvania, because especially since they don't get a lot of those exclusives that like stores like GameStop get. They have nothing really to gain.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't stock it at all.
Fuck it.
I just want to move on to something
Fuck
else.
it,
Like,
yeah.
What did you want to talk about, Chris? The whole the new games coming out that we're looking forward to.
Well-
Any new games that you guys are looking forward to?
The game I'm looking forward to, and I'm guilty of being the casual gamer here, but being the comic book nerd, I'm looking forward to the Marvel Lego game. Because, man, I loved the DC Lego game so much.
Did you ever play it? You played it?
Oh, yeah, I played through it. In fact, the only complaint I had about it was too short. I mean, I beat it in like a week, and I spent half that time dicking around in sandbox mode.
Chavo?
The game that I'm probably looking forward to the most right now, I saw the preview for what has been revealed to be the new Dragon's Dogma game.
Oh, the In Depths or something?
Yeah.
The Depth?
The Deep or
Something like that.
Like it looks really good. It looks like a solid game. And the fact that the trailer that they released was game footage,
Yeah.
that's really impressive because it looked like you were watching an animated film. So I'm looking forward to that.
For me, I would say Grand Theft Auto. I mean,
Really, Grand Theft Auto.
it's just the whole sandbox thing.
I mean,
but they're just-
Rockstar does a pretty
Yeah.
good solid story.
Exactly. Rockstar
Honestly-
does do a solid story. I mean, you're probably thinking back to the Vice City days or the San Andreas days of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I mean,
With the-
I love San Andreas just because I like the whole West Coast 90s rap, but I gotta admit, I got nowhere in the story.
Right.
And then just decided I'm gonna dick around in sandbox mode.
But over the past few years, it's like suddenly Rockstar has become, like, to me, at least in my eyes, one of the best storytellers in the video
Yeah,
game
they're
industry.
getting there.
Because it's like there must have been someone working there in the back that got like wedgies or swirlies every day, and then the bully got fired, and they were like, well, let's see what Josh has to say, and Josh's like, oh, I got this idea, and they're like, Josh is telling a fucking great story. Let's start having him on the writing team because I don't know who he is, but or what it was that propelled Rockstar into this new field of being epic storytellers. But they have done phenomenal work.
I think I know, and the reason I always say my favorite Grand Theft Auto game is Saints Row 2.
You're such an asshole.
And if I had to guess, I would say that maybe it was Saints Row 1 that raised the bar and forced Rockstar to maybe get a little bit more story into their Grand Theft.
No,
Auto.
because the Grand Theft Auto game, or sorry, Rockstar Industries started telling better stories before that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it seems like the more they get into the story, the less of like the freedom that you can do.
I don't know.
That's when Saints Row comes in, where you can just do ridiculous stuff on there.
Yeah, but Saints Row 2 has also got a great story, and you can decide the order you play the story in too.
Yeah.
It's got 3 parallel stories running.
Well, for you, what was the first truly amazing Rockstar game?
Rockstar game,
like
I would
story-wise.
say- I know everybody doesn't like 4, but I like 4 because the whole like Nico Bellic trying to make it like he basically came to America because his cousin lied to him,
Right.
and then he finds a good reason to stay. Like what he loved about it. Like it's not only that, but the dynamics between the characters that you meet. Like the bank robbery scene where
Right.
you build a bond with those the Irish brothers.
Are you saying you didn't enjoy the awesome Saints Row, or the awesome San Andreas story of cliched black guy running around?
That was nah.
You know
the Vice City guy, the '80s guy,
I don't wanna
doing
get-
'80s stuff.
And I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off the subject of 4 because I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was nothing worse to me in San Andreas than me like I want to be a big tough guy. I have to work out 100 hours in real time to get muscles.
Well, as I said, once I got to a certain point, I'm just like, you know what? This story is nothing to me. It's just sandbox mode. And after a while, it's like, you know what? I'm tired of working out.
I don't know.
Time.
I don't know. I could see Chris getting up every morning. Got to knock out these reps. Knock out these reps.
I put it on automatic. I had the drinking bird pushing the button while I go to work.
Never mind getting to a gym in real life. But he will do 1,000 reps on
This is so
Well, I can sit around drinking a Pepsi while I do that.
But yeah, like Rockstar, they've been pretty solid. What you call it? LA Noire won some movie awards, which is
That was
pretty
a damn good
pretty
game.
big for a video game.
So, and anybody who listens to this, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, and if you too. But I do believe my favorite Rockstar game to date, Red Dead Redemption, which to me will go down in history as one of the greatest Western stories of all time.
See, I just can't get into it. I don't care about Westerns.
See, and that's fine. But I
Wouldn't mind playing the zombie version though.
like I said though, I believe it actually was inducted into some kind of like movie Hall of Fame for westerns as one of the best westerns ever made, which to me is awesome. You know what I mean?
that's a step
But
up
that
for
story
video
was so unbelievably touching, and you know what I mean. And like you fell in love with the character of John Marston, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but the ending was amazing. The ending just blew my mind. You know what I mean? The things that they made you feel throughout that game was amazing. They were masterful storytellers.
The second half of the ending was a little bit like.
I don't know. It depends. It depends on how you want to look at it. But it was very bittersweet. You know what I mean? Now, that being said, that's the game that made me go, wow. You know, these are the same dudes that made Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Like, and then I went back and I played 4, and 4, I was like, wow, these stories are unbelievable. You know what I mean? And like I said, Rockstar has really come to the forefront in storytelling now.
So that's what I like about like games like that. Which is, to be honest, I mean, as much as I like to say I'm an Xbox fan, I really like what PS3 is doing. Like Uncharted, it's not like you're just standard like Xbox. They shovel like all these first person shooters, Gears of War, Call of Duty, but PS3 has like Little Big Planet. I don't know if any of you played that.
That's
I
awesome.
played a little bit of that.
That's really fun. Uncharted, I haven't played that one yet, but I heard that's really good.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet either, but it is top of my list for when I do eventually break down. Because I mean, when the next gen
PS4 comes out,
when
and
the
you
next
get a PS3.
when the next gen consoles come out, and you know we all go and get this, you know, because by then they'll be way cheaper. Like Uncharted is top one of the games on top of my list for PS3. I want to play that other game too. What is it called? The superhero game. I don't know. For some reason, it's escaping me.
It's not Prototype.
No,
It's,
because that one's on Xbox too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Infamous.
Infamous, yes. That is another game I can't wait to try.
Prototype was pretty good,
I did like Prototype.
but I was a little disappointed in the graphics. There were a lot of times I felt like I was playing a PS2 game, not an Xbox 360 game.
But there is a lot of stuff going on.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of. In fact, there's a handful of times there was some lag from it.
Yeah, it was chugging it.
If I let the enemies multiply too fast, I got a little bit of lag. But yesterday I was at the used game shop and I come across something that was perplexing to me. Being a big Sonic fan since being a little kid, I'm looking in the glass case and I'm seeing this Sega Genesis game that's got Shadow the Hedgehog on it, and that didn't come around till 2000 or so, long after they stopped making Genesis games. And I'm looking at this like this is some sort of fucking time anomaly I'm staring at. And apparently, there's a bunch of guys that do like really pirated Sonic games.
So it was made by an independent
It's
company?
made by pirates, and basically like a redux of Sonic 1 levels, but with Shadow and Mighty the Armadillo. And there's different powers you can use for each of them. And there's a classic mode that you can play the first 2 levels of Sonic 1, and they're not changed around at all. And if you play as different characters, then it's just a sprite difference at that point. But I looked these guys up online. Sonic Megamix they're called, Team Megamix or whatever. They do really cool stuff.
No, these are the same guys that do like you can get like what was it?
I saw a Mega Man and a Mario game.
Right, that's what
Genesis.
I was thinking of. Yeah,
I don't know if those are the exact same guys, but they're doing the similar thing.
And they make it like legit cartridges.
Yeah, they're perfectly working cartridges. They're really made. I had a lot of fun with it. The only thing I had a problem with, I don't know when you were a little kid and you had like a Nintendo and a Sega, and you'd be like doodling the pictures that are in the instruction booklet, and maybe you doodled like a picture of Mario, and you drew like a level with like 87 freaking bad guys about to jump on them. That's basically what they did coding this game. This game is so cheap and so full of traps at times. It is downright frustrating. There's been times where I still had plenty of lives, but I literally needed to shut it off because I was getting mad at it.
Oh, wow.
Because it's so cheap at times. And it's pretty brutal, and there's so many things going on that there is a lot of lag. There is a lot of times where there's way too many things happening for the Genesis to process.
Yeah.
You know, my poor old 20-year-old Genesis covered in an inch of dust.
But it is amazing that it does work on a regular Genesis. You don't need like a mod chip or anything.
Nope, it works fine. I was very worried when I bought it because I spent more money on it than I'm willing to admit. I pretty much could have gotten a new game for Xbox 360 for what I paid for this.
Wow.
But being the Sonic nerd, I had to get it. And it's damn cool. Any Sonic fan ought to look up what these guys do.
What is it called again?
It's called Sonic Megamix, and there's different versions of it. The one I had, you could play as Sonic, Shadow, or Mighty. There's also versions you play as Knuckles or Tails.
Is this more than just like a palette swap?
It is. Like I said, there are different well, I mean, obviously the levels are completely changed around.
Yeah.
And, well, for example, Mighty, they have the regular base shield from Sonic 1, and then they have the lightning, fire, and water shields from Sonic 3. And you can collect shields as Mighty and kind of build an inventory of them and switch through them using the A button, the command button. Shadow's A button is just doing a dash. Sonic's A button is doing that move where like he follows a line of rings like in more modern Sonic games. I've barely played as Sonic. I didn't spend money to play a Sonic when I could just pop in another Sonic game. But I haven't even really played as Shadow that much because I didn't find the gameplay that interesting. I haven't gotten that far in it even. Like I said, I just got it yesterday, and it is a cheating whore. But it's pretty interesting. The only problem I had is when you play the classic mode on Sonic 1, it only has the first 2 levels. And it just... No ending either, just unceremoniously restarts on you.
So how does the level work? Like,
well, like I said...
do they match up all the levels from...
On the first 2... On the classic mode, it's just the first 2 levels from the game, and you can play as Sonic, Mighty, or Shadow. There's no difference beyond the sprite difference on your thing.
Okay.
But on the Mega Mix mode, it's... Like, the first level is called Sunset Zone, and it's basically just a different color of the old Green Hill Zone. And it, like I said, it's the same style looking, but it's just switched around, and, you know, they added a million more bad guys and spikes everywhere.
That's cool.
For the old Genesis. You gotta wonder if a game like that would run better on one of those new, for lack of a better term, new old games.
Those reboot?
Those systems you can buy, like,
new...
where you play, like, a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, and a Genesis thing on it.
Exactly.
It might. Like I said, I get a lot of lag problems on it. But, yeah, I'm really happy with it. Like I said, I spent more than I care to admit. But I was quite happy with the purchase.
Well, at least you're happy. Could have been terrible. You could have bought it. It could have ended up just being a sprite change.
Yeah, I was so worried about that. I was so worried it was just going to be Sonic 1 with sprite change, and I was going to be like, that would be fun, but not $60 fun.
Right. It'd be hilarious if like you put it in right, and then like you see some guy's hand moving the pixel around.
Oh, dude. I thought I'd get that joke like when you hook Sonic and Knuckles up to like one of the incompatible games, and you just get the Dr. Robotnik going, nope. You know, the Newman from Jurassic Park, The
Didn't say the magic word.
Yeah.
So speaking of, like, since we're in this whole area of old games, Chavo brought up a topic to talk about. What games would you wish they could remake into the next gen?
I'll tell you right now, I would love to see Activision redo Maximum Carnage
That's cool.
for the Spider-Man game. That would be badass. I mean, I know it's kind of done to death, but I mean, Maximum Carnage, I'm pretty sure next year is its 20th anniversary. Wouldn't that make you feel old?
Wow. Yeah.
But that would be awesome.
That is cool. I like that.
I mean, Activision can almost do no wrong with Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
They've got some pretty good, like, Spider-Man 2. I like
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 was kind of weird because they had that weird, there's no manual targeting. You just kind of like...
That upset me. I didn't get
Yeah.
very far in it. The other Spider-Man game I was almost a little disappointed with. I don't even remember if this was Activision, but Shattered Dimensions. And what just really broke my heart about it was I wish we'd have had Sandbox.
Yeah.
If
Right.
we had Sandbox play in 4 different New Yorks, that would have been
Amazing.
arguably the greatest superhero game ever.
I can picture Maximum Carnage in sandbox mode.
Oh yeah.
Can you
the
imagine
different
just swinging around New York City and like you get randomly attacked by someone who's been like just completely like rabid, like
You ever
rabid
play
the
Maximum Carnage
symbiote?
recently? You
Huh?
ever play it recently and to remember it and all?
No.
It is a bitch.
Yeah, I'm not a
It is-
masochist, so
It is like as a kid I used to actually hate it, and I just played Separation Anxiety mostly because they toned it down. I mean, when you're getting your ass kicked by what looks like Girl Scouts that are whipping their hair at you in the first
Yep.
level, that's literally the first boss. They look like 2 Girl Scouts and they whip their blonde hair at you, which does a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah. I know it's a really tough game because I know for a fact that you struggle with it, especially because I remember like a year ago you were playing it and I was getting text messages like, "Will you come over here and beat this level for me?"
Yeah, I
was like, "No,"
I
because I
want
can't.
somebody else to try and help me here.
It's a rite of passage.
You walk down a dead end street.
Even the Game Genie didn't help me. I got a Game Genie for it, and that didn't help me because
I believe-
I was invincible, but I'm still getting knocked off the ledge and had to
Right.
start over.
I believe if you try to put a Game Genie on Maximum Carnage, the Genesis actually laughs at you.
Yeah, the Carnage shows up and you didn't say the magic word.
What about you, Chace?
I personally, and you know, I don't know how many people know about this game, but I would like to see Wizards and Warriors redone in the next gen console because
NES.
it was one of the fun. I mean, it's a great platform game. It's
Wasn't that one of the like bird's eye view kind of a Zelda type thing?
no.
And then like you get,
It was,
I'm thinking of Dragon's Quest.
Yeah,
actually, now.
it was a side
The little-
scroller. Basically, I think that's the best way to describe it. It was a side scroller, except you could go back and forth. You know what I mean? Like it was a side view game, but I mean it was a blast. And I mean I have a little bit of sentimental feeling towards it because I remember when I first got it, me and my dad stayed up all night to beat it. You know what I
No,
mean?
that's
So
great.
it's one of those things where it's like a special place in my heart. But I think about all the different levels that like in that game. Like you start out in this magical forest, and then you got to go up to this cloud world. Then you go down to this cave, and then you go into like this fiery like pit of hell, and you got to climb back up this. For me, trying to reimagine that in like a more 3D like interact like kind of open world, like kind of like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like I think the game would be
It's like an immersive version of it.
exactly. I think the game would be phenomenal in that respect.
You know, I'm going to go twice if nobody minds here.
No,
you
go keep
remember, and I never had a Turbo Graphics because I just didn't. You know, I had
Turbo Graphics.
I had a Nintendo, I had a Sega Genesis, and that was it as a kid. You know, but one of my friends had a Turbo Graphics, and there was this game on it called Splatterhouse.
Splatterhouse.
And
Yeah.
it's like you get this weird red crazy mask
They
that gives you
remade that.
superpowers.
They did remake that.
Did
You know,
they remake that?
They
They
remade
did.
that.
Man, where am
It's,
I on this?
Yeah.
I don't know
Which
how-
systems is that on? I,
360.
Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, 360.
man,
I
I know what I'm buying this week.
I'm not exactly sure how well it went.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
true.
think that's the problem.
Maybe there's a reason I didn't hear about it.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where, like, you know, it's a double-edged sword because, like, you're like, oh, I'd love to see them remake this game I loved when I was a kid, but then if the wrong
But they're
people
not
get
going
their
to be.
hands
They're
on
not going
it,
to be putting any effort into it.
Well,
They're
no,
just
that's-
slap the name on this and that'll sell it.
That's like the
They'll pull
whole
a Duke Nukem on you.
right? See, that's the problem.
Pull
Like,
a Doom on you.
Like I don't want people to give me Dark Souls and write Wizards and Warriors
Yeah.
on it. I want them to I want them to remake Wizards and Warriors. I want
Catch the essence of what it was.
Yeah, I want to replay that level, but I want to replay the level if I could see it through today's technological eyes. That exact level. I want to go through and beat the game. You know what I mean? That would be amazing. Plus, like the old MIDI soundtracks, get a heavy metal band to play those songs. You know what I mean? Like get some very virtuoso musicians to play that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because those of you who don't know, there's a band out there called the Mini Bosses who kind of do like metal versions of a lot of old Nintendo game songs, and they're phenomenal. Like, and they're seriously awesome.
I don't know, for Maximum Carnage, maybe get Green Jello back together.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Green Jelly, I'm sorry,
Green
because
Jelly.
they got their asses sued.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I'm sure they could use the money.
Can you imagine getting your ass curb stomped by Carnage while they're playing The Bear Goes Over the Mountain?
Because that's what, if it's anything like the original, you'd be getting curb stomped a lot.
Hey, look, man.
It's like, well, I can't get past Shriek.
They're like, Cletus is kicking my ass in time.
How about you, Nick?
For me, I wish they would bring back Mega Man Legends. I really like that.
love
Or any like Mega Man, but not like, I know they tried to remake it for the next gen with like the graphics and all that, but it just felt kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Honestly, if Capcom were to ask me, which is an admittedly unlikely scenario, but if Capcom were to ask me, I'd say throw as good a graphics as you possibly can at it while keeping it 2D.
Yeah, Mega Man
While
Legends
keeping it 2D
was-
side scroller.
Mega Man Legends was definitely awesome. I don't know why
You'll pull a Sonic 4, you know?
Yeah.
Just give us better graphics.
They just
and an
kind of
updated
canned
story.
it. It's like no reason. It was doing pretty. I don't know if the sales were right or not, but the game was fun.
Right.
And for like a third person shooter Mega Man, that's like the best scenario you could ever.
Oh,
figure out.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm just gonna. I don't mean to get off track with this, but like, never mind. Continue. I lost my train of thought, guys. Go back to the Mega Man.
Okay. Well, that's it.
Okay.
I just want to say about Mega Man, and I don't know what else I would think of remaking. Maybe Castlevania.
Well, they did. They
They're
did.
working on something like that.
They did. What's it called? Oh man, they just remade that Castlevania game for the Xbox.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called though now, but you know what I'm talking
The
about.
third person.
Yeah, it was third person.
Plus they also have like Symphony of the Night and stuff like that.
Symphony of the Night was so amazing.
Was it?
Oh, I love Symphony of the Night. I mean, that's an old game. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
PS1 game. But I mean, I just thought that was a phenomenal game. Plus, I always thought there was something cool when like you played a side scroller, a sprite game that when you got new items and stuff like that, your sprite changed.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I always loved that. Like that
That was
was
always one of the great things about the Zelda games back in the day.
right.
You know, you had different outfits. And,
Yeah, if you got a different sword, the sword was a different color. You know, what I mean? If you got the you're right, the outfits changed and stuff like that.
Depending on the graphics, you could see his bracelet that let him move the rocks or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I wouldn't mind him doing another Doom, but I'd be afraid of another Doom 3 train wreck. Where it's like, hey, let's take everything that's fun out of Doom and just give him that.
See, that's scary. I'm almost afraid to like say something like that because like the whole Duke Nukem debacle was horrifying.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's whole Gearbox area again.
Yeah, Gearbox.
Randy Pitchford and
I mean, they should change their company name to Epic Fail.
it's like they make Borderlands 1 was mediocre at best. Borderlands 2 won tons of awards. And then they have this weird thing going on where they do good, but then they do like completely something bad.
Are we heading straight for the Colonial Marines conversation here?
Yes.
I don't understand how that happened, because you look at footage of finished levels, what looks like gameplay, and it looks great, and then you look at the actual gameplay, and it's like, did you purposely shit on it? I mean, what did you do?
From what
it
I
almost looked like a massive prank.
From what I understand, and Nick can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but like they outsourced the game, and the people they outsourced it to pretty much did away with all the work that the people what Gearbox had done.
Yeah.
And like because I guess Gearbox was like, oh, we're gonna focus on Borderlands 2.
Yeah, they basically took what Sega gave them and marketed on Borderlands 2. So all that work that they said they did was basically done by Timegate and all these other guys, and it was just it is very bait and switch.
It seems very unprofessional too.
Yeah.
To be
for them to say that they were, oh hey, we are Aliens fan, and Randy Pitchford was all pimping out like, oh, I've been stealing stuff from Aliens 2 forever.
It sounds like the kind of like misbehavior where you almost wonder if Fox could sue them. You know what I mean? It sounds like Fox could almost just sue them for just not delivering what they said they'd deliver.
Right.
I mean, that's a major studio. That's one of the big conglomerates that owns Aliens. You know, do you really want to piss them off and piss in their mouth, essentially?
And the thing that gets to me is this is supposed to be a proper sequel to Aliens.
It's canon.
Yeah, it's canon.
Which is hilarious.
I mean, they might as well just put it in the canon and shoot it out there. Cause
I don't
understand.
I don't know if you can use the word canon after Prometheus with Aliens.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know if you guys know about the story on the Aliens Colonial Marines, but
I know a bunch of the review I saw. He wouldn't give you the spoiler, but he said some major character from Aliens 2 bites it in a very bitch way.
I know who it is. I mean, if you guys don't want to listen to his this. I'm gonna put down a timestamp for you guys you can fast forward past the spoilers. But okay, here's the spoiler. It is Hicks.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
Supposedly, he survived the crash on that the prison planet.
Yeah, the prison planet, which
Alien
is ridiculous because he was deader than dead.
Yeah.
Oh, so they brought somebody back just to kill him in a bitch way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
And then also the Sulaco, supposedly, who was in Furion or whatever planet it was, came back, and they don't explain it. A lot of the characters.
There's no explanation possible. It's just,
That's like trying to say how Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit 6 times.
he just clawed his way out.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
sorry.
Boba Fett, man.
sorry. But yeah, it's ridiculous that they would do that to especially to the fans of Aliens who this game was supposedly made for.
Yeah, they were really pimping it out. They were just like, oh, Randy Pitchford was like, oh, this is great. That
I remember him doing the interviews with that alien statue behind him.
The sequel is a video game. That's what he said. That's it's amazing that the sequel is a video game, but he didn't do any justice.
What year was that old PC Aliens vs. Predator? Wasn't that like 2000, 2001, something like that?
Aliens vs.
It's
Predator?
pretty bad when people are saying just find yourself a copy of that.
That one
Yeah.
was a lot better. That was definitely a lot better.
It's a shame.
You remember the arcade game, the Aliens vs. Predator arcade game?
The shooter one.
Yeah.
No, it was like a side scroller, like Double Dragons type.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Oh right,
Where you
yeah.
just follow
Where you were like you were like a predator and you were
Yeah,
like
you're just fighting through like a
helping
ruined
the humies.
street.
I remember that.
I always played the Predator.
Yeah.
There's a place out in New Jersey I went to recently that was really interesting. It's this old arcade with all these old style machines, and I mean like Super Mario Brothers, you know,
Like an actual cabinet arcade?
yeah, like actual cabinet arcades. And the gameplay is free in it. They charge you by the hour there, so it's mostly the kind of place where you'd want to throw a party. But I mean, I'd played Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers for the first time in years. You know, I had the old Ninja Turtle arcade game.
Yeah.
Had the Simpsons arcade game, the X-Men arcade game. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I think, was the newest thing they had there.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty cool. Where was this?
It was out in New Jersey. I actually went to go see Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, which is a terrible place and no one should go. It's awful. I've been there 3 times over the years.
I gotta say, and we need to just put a disclaimer in here. Chris and I actually have a comic book shop, and we're not saying that out of any kind of like pettiness or anything like that, because we're fans first and foremost. And
Yeah, I mean, we have a comic book shop at a flea market once a week. We're not at all looking to be competition with Jay and Silent Bob. Believe me, I'd be the first to suck their dick if they were doing great, all right? But they're awful. They're terrible. The service is terrible. The place is a mess.
The show is very misleading if you watch.
Yeah, there's a big difference between when the cameras are on and when the cameras are off. I mean, I've been there 3 times, and the most I can say is, I mean, the comic selection is terrible.
It's a great place to go if you're a Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah, if you want a movie hoodie,
right?
If you want a movie hoodie or you want some issue of Green Arrow that Kevin Smith signed, yeah, you're in heaven.
But you can only get the Green Arrow issue if you want it signed.
Yeah, if you want it signed. No getting just the regular. It's unreal. It's such a poor comic book store for being such a famous one.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's owned by a millionaire, and it's nationally famous, even before the show. And you'd think it would just be amazing. And, I mean, Red Bank's a cool town. It's cool to go there. It's cool to see where Clerks was filmed, although, to be honest, I didn't see that this time, so for all I know, that's gone now.
Yeah,
but,
it's almost more fun to go to, like, the Quick Stop than it is to go to Jay and Silent Bob's Stash.
The first time we went, the Quick Stop was still there. RST Video was still there. Might still be, I don't know. But that was much more fun than the actual stash.
Red Bank in general is a very swanky town.
It is. It's very upscale, hipster, yuppie-ish.
It's one of those things where it's like yeah, it's a great place to go get comic books, but like that's pretty much all you're going to be able to afford to buy, because that is a very upscale town.
Yeah, like I said, you know, that arcade was there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a organic hippie kind of pizza place there, which, to be fair, some of the best pizza I ever had in my life.
I think the last time I went up there with you, there was like an Art Nouveau movie theater that only played like the most ridiculous indie. Like it was pretty pretentious.
And always Casablanca.
Always Casablanca.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now
in French.
Yeah, there was that music store you went to where it had like 8,000 guitar picks all in glass cases. And some of them got like some famous guy's thumbprint on it or some bull crap.
You know, it's like these guitars are awesome, you know, but like They're like, oh yeah, you know, we carved them out of ancient stone trees, you know, so they're $8 million. Don't touch it.
Yeah, don't touch it. Yeah, if you keep
There's a
staring,
soul of
we'll
1,000
charge
slain samurais in this guitar.
you. Keep staring at, we're going to charge you $5.
They almost charge you a cover to go in. Like, it's one of those things.
I mean, it's a fun town to go to and to see the stuff there, but I mean, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, even for a nerd, is the least cool thing there.
That's true.
I had much more fun playing Donkey Kong at the arcade across the street than anything that would go on at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
I know Chris has a big opinion on the whole J.J. Abrams
Ah, that's right.
Oh,
Star
jeez.
Trek. Into the lens flare.
Yeah, oh man. I hate the new Star Trek with a burning passion. Star Trek's something that has a lot of sentimental value to me. You know, I've grown up a nerd, and my dad was more of a mechanic and all, but one of the things we bonded on was he was a big Star Trek. So, I mean, growing up, I watched the original show kind of parallel with, like, reruns of the original show kind of parallel with Next Gen. And through middle school and high school, I watched Voyager. I watched a little bit of Deep Space Nine, but, yeah. And I watched a little bit of Deep Space Nine, but, you know, it wasn't really for me. I can't even say I disliked it, but it wasn't for me. But then came that new rebooted Star Trek. And first of all, part of me wasn't happy that there was a reboot to begin with.
Right.
I mean, yeah, Star Trek has had parallel universes before a little bit, but for the most part, we focused on one continuity for 50 years. That's impressive, you know. But okay, fine, I was willing to go with the reboot, but it was just so dumbed down.
Okay. It sounds like you're about to go into the spoilers. So
I'll go to spoilers, and I'll let you know when I'm going to spoilers in the new movie. I mean, spoilers in the old movie. You know, if you don't know already, it's not my problem. It's 4 years old. No. But yeah, the '09 one was just so dumbed down. It was just crap blowing up in space. I thought, with the exception of the guy that played Spock, I mean, I kind of like the guy playing Scotty because he makes me laugh. I don't necessarily think it was a good Scotty. I think it was a funny version of Scotty.
Simon Pegg is
it felt like a parody of Scotty. It felt like he was playing Scotty in a Saturday Night Live skit to me. The guy playing Spock was all right. The rest of them I thought were, again, it was just a very two-dimensional version of these characters. And again, it was just so stupid. And, you know, so then somebody was going to drag me to this new one. And honestly, and yeah, there's going to be spoilers here. Honestly, I'm watching it at first, and I'm thinking, this isn't that bad. This really isn't as bad as the first one. You know, we got some moral questions. I mean, that's what Star Trek was to me. That's why Star Trek was special to me. It was trying to be the thinking man sci-fi. You know, yeah, there were dumb moments. It was around for 50 years. There's going to be dumb moments. But at its best, it was, you know, asking deep questions and exploring the complexities of when cultures collide. It wasn't just crap blown up in space. And this new one just completely rips off Wrath of Khan towards it. It starts off doing its own thing, and then this guy they're fighting turns out to be Khan, which, okay, all right, we're going with a different style Khan. And then it just completely tries to rip off the endings of Wrath of Khan. You know, Kirk dies instead of Khan, or instead of Spock, I mean. But it has none of the emotional weight, because, I mean, these guys have known each other for 2 years in this world. You know, they don't even like each other. I mean, it has none of the emotional weight. Plus, there was a scene earlier where McCoy is playing with Khan's blood, which has magic Wolverine powers, apparently. And he injects it into a dead Tribble, which magically brings it back to life. First of all, you shouldn't be able to a blood transfusion with a Tribble. That should be way too dissimilar a species. Right. But second of all, it brings it back from the dead. And then as soon as Kirk dies, you know, oh, well, they're just going to use Khan's magic blood. So he'll be back in like 10 minutes. And he is.
So if you weren't like a Star Trek fan at all, and you just watched it.
If I wasn't a Star Trek fan and I just watched it for the sheer entertainment, I would have put Star Trek, the first one, in the same quantity I put like Transformers 2. Yeah. Like, it's fun, but it's stupid. I would have put the second one slightly above it. We're talking like Transformers 1 level.
So again, coming from a fan, you
fun
would just,
but stupid.
Not recommend, you know.
No, I don't see how any old Star Trek
from it.
Yeah. It doesn't respect what Trek was.
I'll go ahead and just step out here because why I have no problem with Star Trek. I'm not an avid Star Trek fan. I'm more of a Star Wars guy. That's just my opinion. Okay, I like the new Star Trek movies, but not in the same way that I like Star Wars, because I don't think they're the same thing. I think, which I know you kind of, Chris kind of feels. But
I'm kind of oversimplifying it. When I say
But
Star Wars has, at its best, has a lot more depth than J. Abrams' Star
But
Trek.
I mean, I take the new Star Trek movies for what they are. They're just fun. That's all they're meant to be. You know what I mean? And to be fair, I know for a fact that that the new Star Trek movies has brought fans to the old Star Trek series. Because I do believe Nick's cousin had told me that because of the new Star Trek movie, he started watching the old TV show.
Arvin, yeah.
Which I mean, even if you don't like the movie sucks, at least it's like, oh wow, it's bringing fans back to this old, suddenly Shatner's getting more money in his check. All right, what's going on?
Still, it just, I don't know. There's an emotional aspect where it's like, people were like, Star Trek's finally good now. Like, I didn't get it before, but now it's good. And it's like, yeah, there's a reason you didn't get it. And there's a reason you like it now. For a lot of these people, is what it boils down to. It is very much the dumbed-down version.
And like I said...
And it doesn't surprise me that the dumbed-down version is going to inherently be more popular. I mean, that's kind of just the reality of the situation.
Well, you also got to take into consideration the whole generation that we're in right now, where, like, the bigger and things blowing up in the background is what catches your eye.
Yeah.
It's not like back then they didn't have that big of a budget and everything had to be focused on storytelling.
I mean, honestly, if I had to give it props, I'd say there are some really interesting visual things in it. The reality is Star Trek, especially when it comes to like alien world landscapes, has never been good. It's always been the backlot at Paramount. I mean, even Next Gen and Voyager didn't have that good of a budget. I mean, Next Gen, people forget, was a syndicated show. Voyager, I mean, never really got the ratings that I think it should have, to be honest. And yeah, it didn't have the budget either. I mean, it was a massive CGI fest back when CGI really didn't look very good. But there also wasn't a certain level of creativity, and that was just the budget, especially for the original show. And in this new movie, you got a planet where all the plant life is red, and some of it's interesting. One thing, and it doesn't get talked about enough, we see the Klingons in this new movie.
Right.
Holy crap. People used to joke about the Ferengis being like this racist Jewish caricature, and they kind of were, let's face facts. But the Klingons were the most racist caricature of black guys in this movie I've ever seen. I mean, just big lips, and like as soon as they took their helmets off, we saw their face, I'm like, really? I'm white and I'm offended by that. That was awful. Holy crap. It was like the little Jewish flying guy in Star Wars Phantom Menace. Like he was like Arab or Jewish or whatever. Like, this is what you want.
So while we're in this whole like area right now of what's your opinion on remakes? Like the whole Superman reboots. And...
Well, as a comic book fan, it doesn't bother me rebooting the movies because to me it's like the main universe is always the comic to me. And I look at the movies as a movie, a good movie, and B, just another little world, just an Elseworlds, just a, right. I don't necessarily mind changes as long as you're getting the core of the story right. I don't mind, but yeah, I don't mind. You start over with the movies all you want. Start over with DC, they almost need to start over every damn time to get it right, but I mean, honestly, I'm not all that interested in the Superman movie because it doesn't particularly look that good. I mean, I think the tone looks way too dark for a Superman. I'll go see it. I'm a comic book nerd. I'll go see it probably opening weekend.
I really feel like the Man of Steel. It looks like it takes from Earth 1 Superman.
It does.
I get a strong vibe. I mean, I don't mean to ruin anything for the people who haven't read Earth 1, even though that book's been out forever. So,
you're talking about like how he's trying out different things.
It's not just that, but it's also the fact that like people come and knocking with a whole army.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like if it almost feels like someone is rebuilding that exact story.
I'll be honest. The other reason I'm kind of cold to do it is I don't really care about Zod again.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost makes sense to put Luthor at least in the background of every Superman movie, but beyond that, I mean, yeah, he doesn't have the greatest rogues gallery. He's not Spider-Man or Batman or even the Flash, but he's got some gems out there. You can throw Darkseid in there. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Doomsday on the big screen now that we have the tech for that.
Chace actually had a talk about this.
Right.
He was thinking like, why do people really have to reboot stuff when all that history has been established? Why don't we just go straight for like Darkseid or
it's almost part, and yeah, I did. It's almost part of the culture now. Like, if you don't know, like the fact that Batman's parents were murdered and that's why he became Batman,
you're probably not
under
seeing
a
Batman movie.
Yeah, exactly. You
know
what I mean? Like everybody has like in American culture. I mean, and you can even ask this for immigrants. People have the basic idea of what those characters are. Those are worldwide icons. You can find kids in the jungles of Africa who know who Superman is. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't need to rehash the origins with these characters every single time.
If Warner Brothers was to ask me for advice, again, admittedly unlikely scenario, but I would tell them, you know what? You want to get up to a Justice League movie? Don't do Superman or Batman. Do a Wonder Woman. Do a Flash. Do a Green Lantern. I like the Green Lantern movie. A lot of people didn't. I understand if they wanted to start over on that one. But do those 3, and throughout each of them, keep hinting around that Superman and Batman exist in this world.
Right.
You know, when we're doing the Wonder Woman movie, we say like, oh, she's almost as strong as Superman. But don't show them. Don't show the actors playing them. Don't show the costume designs. Don't show them. You whet people's appetite. So when Justice League happens, then here's Superman and Batman in this world.
Even something as simple as like someone in the background on a park bench reading a newspaper that says Superman something.
Yeah,
just give the people something to let them know.
Like the first one you do, let's say the Flash is premiering his powers to his friend. He's showing him, oh, I'm the Flash now. And he's like, what do you think? You're like that crazy guy in Gotham?
Exactly.
Just throw lines out there that just whet people's appetite for it. But don't do Superman and Batman again. You don't need to.
Yeah.
All right? Nobody needs to be brought up to... Nobody who is ever going to step foot in a Justice League movie, comic book fan or not, needs to be brought up to speed on who Superman and Batman are.
Right.
Yeah, but how does that factor in the whole like rights thing though?
Well, I mean, there's no rights issue with... I mean, Warner Brothers owns DC.
They own everything.
They have since the 50s.
Like what they did with Iron Man, how they couldn't like mention Captain America or something like that.
Well, they kind of could. With Iron Man, they were still really afraid of throwing too much out for people. They wanted to make them as accessible and standalone. Plus, they hadn't quite gelled what they were going to do with Captain America yet.
Right.
You know, they didn't want to say something and then have it contradicted in a later movie.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And getting back to what you were saying before about not having to rehash someone's origins, like anybody who has seen the Incredible Hulk movie. That's not the
Incredible Hulk, not Hulk.
Incredible Hulk. Anyone who's seen Incredible Hulk, they recap what had happened to Bruce Banner in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
we got it. We get it.
Yeah.
We understand he's the Hulk.
Yeah, they did that in Punisher Warzone.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's no reason you can't do that, and it's a common thing used in comic books where there used to be these things on the front page where they would explain the hero.
Yeah.
Then you can just go right on. Okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Every once in a while they throw it into a story. You know, Spider-Man briefly remembers his origin. Because you comics have always known they've got new readers coming in all the time. But
that's what I'm saying. There's no.
You don't necessarily need to talk down to them.
And Spider-Man, like that was to me one of the most disappointing things when I found out Amazing was going to be another origin story. I was like, it's not necessary. You know what I mean? Especially following the coattails of a movie that had practically just told it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, people get it. And I guarantee you, anybody who's going to go see the new Spider-Man movie probably saw those old Spider-Man movies. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of feel bad for Uncle Ben, how many times he's died in the screen.
That poor guy, yeah.
Or Batman's mom and dad.
I was not happy with the new Amazing Spider-Man. I feel like in a lot of ways it didn't know what movie it wanted to be.
Right.
I feel like in a lot of ways they did better. I feel like in a lot of visual ways they did better.
Oh,
than the first
visually
movie.
it was phenomenal.
And a lot of more superficial ways. But I mean, you do a Spider-Man origin story and you downplay the theme of responsibility. And I don't understand how you can do that.
The sad part about Amazing is if you watch it, there's so many times when you're like they're so close.
There's so many times it could have been amazing. Yeah. And it just fell flat. And it arguably got the harder stuff right, you know, and got the basic stuff wrong.
Right. But you're absolutely right. Visually, it was a masterpiece. Visually.
Oh yeah, the way the fight scenes moved. I didn't care for how the lizard looked.
That was
the way he moved was great.
But even the way that like in the comic book, Spider-Man can go from being this funny guy to this threatening guy. Like how there's a scene. I'm gonna spoil here, yeah, and I'm sure we'll put a timestamp on here so you can move past it. But there's a scene where Spider-Man is out on his first kind of vigilante run, and he runs into a mugger, and he's a car thief, and
he starts doing the eye.
He pins the guy against the wall, and he's making his jokes, but like then all of a sudden he's super scary. You know what I mean? Because then all of a sudden you're realizing, oh my god, there's this guy in a suit with black eyes, and this guy's probably going to kill me. Yep. And he makes the guy that scared. You know what I mean? And to be fair, that the way that they did it, you thought maybe he did because he checks the guy's risk, you know, because he's looking for the guy who killed Ben. You know what I mean? And for all we know, if that had been the guy, we might have had brain matter all over the floor at that point. Because, like Chris said, unfortunately, the big thing that they get wrong is the responsibility thing.
Yeah,
you know
there's no. I mean, Flash Thompson had a better character arc about Uncle Ben's death than Peter Parker did.
Exactly.
You know, Peter Parker's a douche when this movie starts, and he's a douche when this movie ends.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I digress. the point is, you don't need to tell the origin of these heroes all the time. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I'd love to see another Batman movie, but I don't want to see another Batman movie about how Batman became Batman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
everybody knew.
Yeah, we know, we get it. You know, let's you know, I'd love to see Batman, and you know, I hate to be this guy, but I mean, I like the Christopher Nolan films. I really did, but I'm not a big fan of the realism. You know what I mean?
It's a little too much.
It's it's overly done. You know what I mean?
It really they don't stand up to multiple viewing.
Yeah.
To me.
Like,
I can't sit through Batman Begins anymore. And I loved it when it first came out.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, the more I'm familiar with the plot, the more the dragging on moments just don't work anymore.
but not only that, but I want to see the villains that I want to see.
Yeah,
Show me
Killer-
Clayface.
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc, yeah.
Mr. Freeze.
Exactly, but not done in a...
Zaz.
Not Arnold.
Yeah, not
You know,
Arnold.
there's,
Zaz. Exactly.
Nice to meet you.
Like, give me
how-
Man-Bat.
when
Give
will
me
it ever get
these
to those
nasty
guys?
creatures that because to me that's more impressive. I want to see this mere man who's trained himself defeat these unsurmountable odds. I don't want to see him fight some burly dude from Russia.
Yeah.
I get it. He's trained, and to be honest with you, if he was trained by a bunch of master assassins and he's a ninja, I mean, I guess he must have just got soft by the time. Sorry, not to spoil anything, but by the time Bane came around, that all of a sudden he's having this. I refuse to believe he had that hard a time fighting Bane.
I don't know. It's supposed to be like 10 years after Dark Knight, which again kind of shoots it in the face. And, you
Right.
know, not going to be able to tie that into any Justice League thing.
But
which is kind of sad. I thought he was a pretty damn good Batman.
But I mean, I'm sorry. There's no reason you have to do origin stories over again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, like everybody wants to see like Superman. We don't need to know about Superman again. You know, I don't want to know about young Superman. Show me, like Chris said, show me him fighting Darkseid.
Smallville was on 10 years.
Yeah.
We've already beaten that horse to death.
Bring in Power Girl, Shazam.
There's
Captain
so much
Marvel.
stuff DC can do. You know what I mean? Like just for a long time, that DC was adamant that you couldn't do a Justice League movie. You can't do a team movie.
Yeah.
Well, now Marvel's come and blowing their faces off with an Avengers movie that not only did they show that it was doable, but that it could be great.
And raked in unimaginable sums of money.
One of my top favorite movies, like
Absolutely.
superhero movies, because they don't just I don't know, they just don't.
It's just a phenomenally well done movie.
And they do an amazing job. You never feel like the movie's about one person.
Yeah, it's
You
not
feel-
Cap in the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's not Thor in the Avengers.
I mean,
Very-
arguably, you could say Hulk stole the show a little bit. You know what I mean? Because he was the comic relief. You know
But
what I
by
mean?
the same token, you could argue Robert Downey Jr. stole the show.
Absolutely.
If I had to give another one there, I mean,
Exactly. I mean, that's just natural.
Again, you know,
more intense personalities are going to stand out. You know what I mean? You know, and the Hulk and Robert Downey Jr. It's weird. I say the Hulk. I mean, I should be given credit where credit's due, but I almost feel like it was the CG Hulk that was the star. You know what I mean? Like because he was just the things they did.
Yeah,
with
but that
him.
was based off of Ruffalo's facial.
Yeah,
movements.
no, and I agree. And it was just the scripting they
It
did
was
for the
animated
character.
over it. But,
It was hilarious. Like
all the mannerisms was him.
yeah, just the little things that he did, like when he would like when he would punch Thor.
Yeah.
You know, like that was hilarious. You know, or when he mollywops Loki. I mean, everybody laughed. I'll never forget that.
That was hilarious.
And people were laughing so hard when I went to the premiere of that I didn't hear the line that he said when he was done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what disappoints me about some of these like superhero movies, because they just keep rebooting it, and you never get to see all the other like villains and other superheroes that are in this world.
Yeah. You don't get to the true meat of
I mean,
the character.
frankly, with a good superhero, I mean, a Batman, a Spider-Man, you can keep going up until the actors get too old. Is when you need to reboot. You know, I mean, until then, I mean, Spider-Man has a dozen great villains. Batman has a dozen great villains. Even guys lesser known like Flash have some amazing villains.
Captain
You
Boomerang.
could- yeah. Well, I mean, Reverse
Gorilla
Flash. I don't know.
Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd's a great villain. I almost think he's a little boring visually because I mean it's just a gorilla.
you get,
That's one of those things where I'd actually like a little bit of Hollywood over designing.
Yeah.
That tends to happen in superhero movies.
You get
Because I mean,
C-
otherwise you just have a gorilla.
You could get Caesar from what was it, Rise of the Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
to play Gorilla Grodd.
Too bad Michael Clark Duncan still is dead. God rest his soul.
Yep.
You know, because I'm sorry, but can you think of a better voice for Gorilla Grodd?
Oh, no.
Michael
plus,
Clark-
plus
like-
Kilowog.
Yeah, he was amazing as Kilowog.
Best
That was,
Kilowog.
I mean,
The only voice I could probably think of as Kilowog. I don't know if he could ever replace him.
yeah, that's going to be a tough. If they do make another Green Lantern,
I
movie.
guess you just have to throw Ving Rhames in there. The poor man's Michael Clark Duncan.
Poor guy.
Ving Rhames as Kilowog. Try and
Anything
get.
else, yeah.
I think that's about it.
It's probably a good episode right there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and subscribe to us on Twitter at was it Getting Jib?
Getting Jib.
I set it up.
Yeah.
You set it up and you don't remember.
I know.
I know.
I'm
The
texting
thing.
you the thing.
The Twitter box. Yeah, it's getting jibbed, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, getting jibbed, and the Facebook, which is get jibbed. It's one of those things. We'll post it up on YouTube and whatnot. But thank you. Give us some feedbacks. Tell us what you liked and what you didn't like, and some suggestions. And see you guys next time.
Getting jibbed.
Getting jibbed.
Getting
jibbed.
Getting jibbed.
I'll get you jibbed.
Thank you. Yeah.
So this is us saying goodbye, and let's get jibbed.
Let's get jibbed.
All right.